For a good part of my life, I believed a lie. I believed in literal hell. I believed in a literal heaven. I believed that if you didn't believe in the Bible God, if you didn't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you were going to go to hell. I spent most of my free time at church. I spent a lot of my time reading the Bible and doing church stuff. Church was my life. If that wasn't enough, I spent 8 years studying to become a minister. Although I graduated, I never pastored a church. Now, within a year of graduation, something happened that was life-changing. My kidneys failed, and I required dialysis 3 times per week. Life was not fun during this time. I was on dialysis for 3 years, and in February of 1999, I received a kidney transplant. The kidney that I received in 1999 is still functioning today. So today's question, has my life been a waste? Hi, I'm Garth Oxner, former worship leader. I'm now an agnostic atheist, and I'm your host of Faith Challenged. In 2024, when I began to realize that most of what I believed, if not all of what I believed, was a lie, I panicked. For a minute, I did believe that my life was a waste. Back in the 90s, Bill Gaither came out with his Homecoming series. It wasn't until the early 2000s that I became a fan. I got to tell you, I was hooked. I loved the music, and I loved the message. The music was Southern gospel, and the message was longing to spend eternity with God in heaven. I would play those DVDs over and over and over again. I was looking forward to that day when I would be in heaven with God, Jesus Christ, and all of the saints who have gone on before me. With my health issues, I anticipated that my life, or that my time here on earth, would be short, and that it wouldn't be long until I would receive my heavenly reward. In watching these videos, it was like I was hastening the end of my life here on earth. I couldn't wait to get to heaven. Now that was messed up. What a waste of a life. I just got a second chance at life with a successful kidney transplant. And now I was looking forward to this life ending and starting a new life in heaven. Looking back, I was willing to give up a life that I knew existed for a life in heaven that I believed was real only by faith. Now, 25 plus years later, I now realize that I have no idea what waits for me beyond this life. I do know that heaven, or that the heaven that I once thought was a certainty, is nothing more than a man-made creation. In many ways, I wasted a great deal of time focusing on an afterlife that will probably never materialize. I can't do anything about that. It does me no good to focus on wasted time. Most of us do waste precious time. All we can do now is control our lives going forward. Life is full of regrets. All of us have said and done things that we now regret. As a Christian, I feel that when I was a Christian rather, I feel that I was sometimes mean and judgmental. I thought that I knew it all and that I had all of the answers. For the most part, that was my younger self. The older I got, the more I realized that I didn't have all the answers. This was freeing, and it made me a better person. Although I was changing, and I was less rigid regarding my teachings or regarding the teachings found in the Bible, I still believed in the cult of Christianity. There are many reasons why I am no longer a Christian, and I am still going through that deconstruction process, but I won't go into that here. I will add that I see little evidence that points to the existence of a deity. Can I be certain? Absolutely not. But there is no evidence that points to the existence of the God that is in the Bible. I am certain of that. To say that I don't have regrets or that I am not angry about being taught a lie would be a lie. Of course I'm angry. Of course I have regrets about forcing my beliefs on others. I spent so much time learning about this fictitious God when I could have been enjoying this life and learning more about our planet. For me, growing up in the church wasn't all bad. Now, I need to preface this by saying that I never felt abused by anyone in church leadership or at the church, period. If it weren't for the church, I would be a different person today. It took me a while to get here, but at 62, I like the person who I am becoming. I care for others now in a way that I've never cared before. I was one of those people who didn't care about injustice done to others as long as it wasn't done to me first, or as long as it wasn't done to me. Embracing and accepting those who are different from me is now so important to who I am. While I am nowhere near perfect, I am on this incredible journey to become a better person, or to becoming rather a better person. Every day I try to be a better husband, a better friend, a better person than I was the day before. Many musicians are musicians because they were brought up in the church. And yes, this is my story as well. For years, music has been a huge part of who I am. While I was a late bloomer when it came to being a musician, the church had a major role in me developing my skills as a musician. I must confess that since leaving church, music has not been as important to me as it once was. Fortunately, even when I was a Christian, my musical repertoire wasn't entirely made up of Christian music. Even though this is true, and yes, I do have a large catalog of secular tunes that I play, music is not my go-to like it used to be. I hope to change this and make music a habit once again. Until my early to mid-20s, education was tough for me. I credit my belief in God with me being able to acquire a university education. It was probably nothing more than a placebo effect accompanied by an underlying medical issue being brought under control. Let me be clear, academics was never a cakewalk for me, but something occurred in my mid-20s that enabled me to learn and to achieve a university level education. Until this point, my academic record was dismal. I failed grade 6 and I barely made it through junior high despite being placed on a lower academic track. In grade 10, I couldn't cut it, so I dropped out. With a lot of effort, sweat, and tears, I eventually obtained an advanced degree in sociology. In the spring of 1991, I did graduate from Dalhousie University in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Then 4 years later, in the spring of 1995, I obtained a Master of Divinity degree from Acadia Divinity College, and that is located in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. Part of the reason why I give a God who does not exist any credit for my academic achievements is that at some point this all began with a belief that God was calling me into Christian ministry. Yes, I admit it. I believed that God was talking to me, and I believed he was calling me to work for him in Christian ministry. A calling that I now recognize as something that did not happen, as God is not real. Without the belief that God was behind me during 8 years of challenging studies, I am not sure that I possessed the self-confidence necessary to have obtained my 2 degrees. At the time, I gave credit and thanks to God. Now I recognize the possibility that what I experienced may have been, at least in part, a placebo effect. In bringing this video to a close, I have to answer this all-important question. Do I wish my life was different? In many ways, yes. Yes, I do. In many other ways, I do not. Sure, no one should be lied to. My parents, however, did the best that they could, and they wholeheartedly believed that Christianity was real. They believed that I would go to hell if I didn't believe what they believed. Despite my overwhelming health issues, my life could have been so much worse. I am grateful that I didn't go to my grave believing the scam of Christianity. With the time that I have left to live, I want to make the most out of my life. I want to make a difference in the lives of the people who are around me. With every new day, I want to be a better person while I continue to deconstruct my faith and my religion. I know that this is not an easy journey. I lost friends when I walked away from Christianity. These friends, however, were not friends, or they would still be in my life today. Life is full of regrets, but in the end, we must focus on the positives and learn from our negative experiences. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this content helpful, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Faith Challenged. Please comment and let me know where you are from, where you are at with your faith, and what you thought of today's video. Until next time, I'm Garth Oxner, your host of Faith Challenged, reminding you to always think critically.